Gary Pinkel's final home game as Missouri's head coach as they hosted Tennessee. What a career he has had. As Coach Pinkel being thanked by the fans and players for all his service there. Tennessee, Josh Dobbs. Can you imagine if Tennessee had actually won all those games in September when they had the double-digit leads?
Very talented football team. Another disappointing season, not getting those wins that you talked about.
19-8, the Vaughn.
Missouri, last home game for Gary Pinkel. It came against Tennessee. The appreciation all over the stands at 4-0 Field, and you see plenty of emotion. We saw this last week. You see Evan Boehm there with Gary Pinkel. Ish Witter fumbles the football. Forced by LaTroy Lewis, and Tennessee comes up with it. Missouri's defense holds again, though. Vols end up setting up for a field goal. Oh, boy, look at this. Something's up. Patrick Ashford, the holder, goes under center. They try to get Missouri offside, eventually call it a timeout. So Tennessee, you're not supposed to ice your own kicker, but they did.
College kickers.
Has it ever been worse?
No.
Aaron Medley, he missed the 31-yarder. Less than 25 seconds to go in the half. Josh Dobbs, touchdown. Drops the ball, but yes, it was a touchdown. 16-0 Tennessee. Early third and 7. Dobbs pressured by that Missouri defense. It's a loss of 2. So, again,
they were good all day long. The Missouri defense did a good job. Just too much time out on the field because of the offense's ineptitude.
Yeah. Drew Lock, strike to Hilton, but his knee goes down. So Cam Hilton not in. Lock. Did he get in? Did he get in? Yes, 1-yard touchdown.
Nice athletic ability by Mr. Lock there.
He ended up passing to Jason Reese. They went for 2. They got it. So it was 19-8. Getting late, though. Lock under pressure. Dragged down after a 1-yard gain. That was 3rd and 6. Tigers really just could never get anything going. But a great moment after the game. Gary Pinkel carried off the field on the shoulders of his players. 19-8, though. Tennessee gets the win in Como.
I love those kids, Gosh darn it. They know what I'm like. They know I like to win, man. That's what we got in this business for us. When we go on that field, that's our job. That's my job, is we win. And when it's tough to win, it's my job to find a way to win, And I feel like I let them down. Bottom line, I feel like I let them down. There's been a lot of distractions this year, and certainly, that's something we've had to overcome, those things. But no, it's just they're awesome, and I love them, and they know that, and just I like to win.
So it didn't go the way that he would have liked. And you said, we talked about last week going into the BYU game. Where would this team be because of the emotion? Would it drag them down? Would it fire them up? It fired them up. And how many times can that happen, right?
I mean, I don't think you can consistently trying to get yourself up emotionally. This comes down to how well you can perform. And today, credit to Tennessee's defense. They completely shut Missouri's offense down, only allowed them 88 yards after I thought last week Russell Hansbrough was going to start adding that running dimension to this offense that they've been missing. They were terrible on 3rd downs. And when you keep putting your defense out in those positions, eventually they're going to break, and that's what ultimately happened.
Well, no doubt about it. And when you give up 248 yards rushing to Tennessee, to me that just goes to show you that the emotion wore off and the execution came up for Tennessee. But this is about Missouri's ability to execute on the offensive side of the football. Against BYU, they were 13 of 20 on 3rd down. They kept the ball. Drew Lock moved the offense down the field. In their 5 losses, they're 10 for 72 on 3rd down.
Yeah.
And you're not going to win many games when you're 10 for 72 or 14% on 3rd down conversion. So it's tough for that offense.
It's a work in progress. I mean, there's no doubt. But Lock, an offseason would be great.
It's a young team. There's young receivers, young quarterbacks. They need some time to play together.
They need to get to a bowl game.
Yeah, more practices and things of that nature.
But they still need another win to get there.
Let's also talk about Missouri, though. They're looking to guarantee that 6th win, an opportunity to go bowling. What is the key for them against Arkansas in order to get a victory and hopefully continue their postseason aspirations?
Well, let me first put this out there. I don't necessarily think they're going to win this game. So before I try to, I think that Arkansas is a strong team. Obviously, we've seen some good things from Arkansas. They've been playing well in November besides last game. But if I was to turn on the TV on Sunday morning and suddenly I saw that Missouri had won, one thing that they would have to do is have a very, very stingy defense. They would make sure that they are playing from sideline to sideline, tackling, gang tackling, and maybe something has to happen in their special teams. They have to get a spark on special teams, some interceptions. And I think that the emotional factor of what's going on around the camp, or around the organization, Gary Pinkel, this might be his last game. I think that might be enough. Being football players, we understand that the emotional aspect sometimes can will you to a win.
They have to force turnovers. This offense right now at this point, and I know Arkansas's defense is not special, especially in the secondary. If these receivers for Missouri can't separate from this secondary, then it's going to be really tough sledding, even as they go into the offseason, because this is one of the worst tackling secondaries in the SEC. What they have to do, though, they have to make sure that they can manage drives. Against BYU, 13 of 20 on third down. Last week, 1 for 9 is how they started. They didn't finish well either. So they have to make sure they stay on the field and then also allow the defense to put the offense in positions to make plays, because they cannot go 60, 70, 80 yards time in, time out. It's just too hard on the true freshman quarterback and a very young and experienced offense.
Yeah, Arkansas over the last 5 games is averaging 50 points. Missouri over the last 5 has scored 50, so it'll be a challenge. But Gary Pinkel's last regular season game, you never know what's going to happen in a matchup like that. It was a shootout in Fayetteville, and I'm convinced we had to go into overtime to see just how many touchdowns both quarterbacks could score. Brandon Allen hit 7 TD passes and finished 30 for 43 for 406 yards. And even though the Razorbacks didn't get the win, Brett Bielema says he saw a lot of positives on the field.
Saw a lot of really good things. Obviously saw some things we need to correct on all 3 phases. The things that we saw were some things that not really shown up in the past, just some detailed things. I think in particular, the 2 quarterbacks were playing really, really well, and they were hard to defend. The numbers out of Dak were unbelievable, and you could see what had happened on film, and then also caught a couple breaks. Thought our guys came in at halftime, adjusted very, very well, really, in all 3 phases to what was going on. Unfortunately, they got a little momentum back in the 4th quarter on offense and did some really good things down the stretch that obviously ultimately gave them the win. I don't think I've ever been in a game where we scored 40 points or and not won it. Just so mind-boggling, but on the same account, I'm proud of our team in regards to we win as a team, we lose as a team. We got done with it, and there wasn't anybody, pointing fingers or anybody. It was just, hey, there was a lot of very, very quiet locker room, probably the quietest it's ever been. For BA on Saturday, his dad being a coach, being from Fayetteville, from being an older brother of a younger brother on the team, there are just so many storylines that buy into something special that's pretty unique and pretty genuine, and something I've never been a part of. I've never had a coach's son that I have worked with now be our starting quarterback, and it means a lot. They've got 2 or 3 guys up front that could probably start with anybody in this league. I think their linebackers run really. Obviously, we've got one that makes a lot of plays. Their back end's good. For a first year, for a coordinator to come in and do the things they've continued to do, and they just play hard on defense. You know what I mean? They play really physical. They very, very seldom get out of position. They don't give up a lot of big plays. It's one that you get a lot of respect for when you watch them on film.
Coach's offense has been firing on all cylinders, especially over the last 5 games. Overall, the Hogs lead the SEC in offensive efficiency, but they'll be facing the conference's 3rd best scoring defense. And both units excel in the red zone, which will be something to keep an eye on Friday afternoon.
Not many get carried off the field on the shoulders of their players after a loss, but Gary Pinkel did on Saturday after his last home game as Missouri head coach. The game didn't go his way. They lost to Tennessee 19-8, falling to 5-6 on the season. Just one more guaranteed game for Pinkel to coach. It comes Saturday at Arkansas.
I felt bad the other night, when a couple of players came over and and picked me up and took me off the field. That was very nice of them to do it. I'm grumpy, I'm not a guy that can, I could coach Virginia Tech. Coach, they lost the game and he's smiling, waving to everybody, and So I'm very, very appreciative of that, very appreciative of our fans and everything else. But, our players and coaches right now, there's, transition's going to be taking place. And they have no idea what's going to happen. And this is normal. Everyone, if you go to Virginia Tech, if you go to South Carolina, it's all those players. Now, this is the first time I've ever been a part of it, ever, fortunately, as a coach in my business. But, there's a lot of, what's going to happen. And obviously that's, they got great relationships with one another, and it's again, all the places that this has happened, that's just the way it is. And obviously, you worry about focus of your football team and being able to play their best. And so my job is to do everything I can to get them to do that. I consider it a destination job, so I had other opportunities to leave. Obviously, it's just remarkably different than it was when I got here. And I think, if you just look at our, the winning over the last 8 years, and even throw this year in it with a tough year, we're top 15 in the nation, probably winning the last Power 5 teams that have been in those leagues the whole time. It's a great place. It's, we got the state of Missouri, got great college prospects in this state. And I think, we don't get them all, but we get a good portion of them, most of them. And I think the future's, I think someone's going to come in here and take this to a whole different level. I've always taken pride that in a very, very insecure world, that my coaches have been about as secure as you can be. And I think, as I worked for Don James for 12 years and I had opportunities to leave, that was one of the reasons. I didn't want to be bouncing back and forth. And so it's I created, in just for our players too. You just, my players and coaches get along so well, and we've had so much success here, over the span of the years, and it's just there's nothing I can say. It's just unfortunate, and you feel bad, but it happened to South Carolina, it happened to Virginia Tech, it happened in Minnesota. They appointed somebody there to coach, but I feel real bad. Honestly, no truth. I feel.
Tigers and Hogs going to play for the Battle Line Trophy. Trophy itself is new. It's made of silver, stands more than 4 feet tall, and weighs more than 180 pounds. Depicts the outline of the two states, and the color of the battle line between the states will be reflective of the winner of the game. This was the man behind this, David Basil, former Razorback, same as the man behind the Golden Boots when Arkansas plays LSU.
It was a good work week. Our kids have handled everything pretty good, and I think today should be another definition of it.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Oh, and if you couldn't tell from all the shots we've already shown you, it is a soggy, rainy, chilly Thanksgiving Friday here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Yesterday was balmy. I mean, it was shorts weather. And now it's bundle up and get ready for football weather. In other words, it's just perfect, right?
I love this sort of weather. This is a lie detector. You're going to find out who wants to play for the sake of the game or who's ready to go inside, get warm, and have mama make them some soup.
That doesn't sound too bad right now. John Gibson boggles the opening kickoff, picks it back up at the 5, and Gibson picks his way back out around the 16. So the first
play zone.
Brown goes in motion again, correctly this time. Locke fumbles the football, recovers it back at the 25.
It's just a tremendous job of rushing the passer. He gets chipped a little bit, but finds a way to stay alive and fight himself in there, beating left tackle Connor McGovern, who was getting help from a back. This man has been playing some football lately, Carter. Arkansas needs a run here. They started the last series off with a pass. That's not going to get it done today.
Alex Collins spinning across the 40. Dives across the 45 with the junior who's gone over. Allen third and long. Pressured, hit as he throws, but it's complete. Arkansas first down.
This is the area of the field. Jeremy Sprinkle had 3 touchdowns a week ago.
Collins straight ahead. Touchdown, Arkansas. The Razorbacks are on the board first. The junior from Fort Lauderdale, Alex Collins, on a run-heavy drive to close out the first quarter. We'll return to Arkansas after this message and a word from your local station. Hunt on 3rd and 1 is driven back as Arkansas holds tight. On 1st and 10, Collins straight ahead. More running room for Alex Collins across the 25.
What else would you do?
Here he is. Collins, first down and more. Plowing over the Tigers as he reaches the 49. Oh, by the way, Jonathan Williams out of the eye. This is Walker. Shaking back. Walker keeps his feet underneath him and rolls inside the 35. Arkansas, 1957. 50 years coaching AD here in Fayetteville. Allen downfield. Henry bobbles but makes the grab inside the 10 again. Right back to Hunter Henry. Collins on the left side. Collins pushing, stretching. Waiting for the signal. Touchdown, Arkansas. Second touchdown of the day for Alex Collins.
Side linebacker, keep your eye on some of these blocks. And the fullback just wicking it up there in the hole. And Sebastian Tretola, big 73. And with his centers, Mitch Smothers doing a nice job on an ace block. That's a double team between the center and the right guard, moving up to that backside linebacker. That's football 101 at its best.
Allen on the roll on second down to the 25, complete. It's the tough Drew Morgan who makes the grab and takes another tough pop. Out of the eye, Collins straight ahead inside the 20. Alex Collins sheds a defender inside the 10, into the end zone. The third rushing touchdown of the day for the junior from Fort Lauderdale, Alex Collins. This one from 25 out.
This is just a lead draw. They have some movement, and that's the problem on a draw. If you're going to slant your defensive lineman, meaning on the snap of the ball, moving them from one spot to another.
Like the air raid around here for Arkansas. Now it's back to the ground and pound. So the numbers not available, statistics not available on those food items would guarantee that they were put down. Don't know if Bielema got all four corners of the stuff. Walker, he's popped at the 20.
He's told that he's going in for x-rays. I'll find out more soon.
Thank you, Jenny. Hansborough in the backfield for Mizzou. Dropped as soon as he grabs it at the 6. Brooks Ellis, the middle linebacker.
One of only 4 schools in the SEC who have not played in that SEC championship since its inception.
Collins out of the first down. Sprinkle goes in motion, first and goal. Allen to Walker. Touchdown, Arkansas. One play after the penalty on Kenya Dennis keeps the drive alive.
Blocks backside, getting a hat on a hat, working up to the second level, not giving up on your blocks, and then nice patience and vision by Cody Walker.
And relied on that ground game. 28-3 now, Arkansas on Mizzou. First and 10 in that red zone. Hart is drilled as soon as he touches it at the 20 and shoved back by a host of Hogs. Brooks Ellis in there amongst them.
Got to win your one-on-ones here.
Lott steps up, pressure, takes the sack. Back at the 23-yard line.
The receivers that have had trouble holding on to the football once it gets thrown to them.
Collins going to take it out, 3rd and 12. Huge hole again for Collins, plowing over Missouri defenders. Play action from Allen on second down, throwing complete near midfield. That's Damon Mitchell down with 1:19. Locke stepping up. He's going to deliver long, and it's intercepted in the end zone by Arkansas.
But as we mentioned, there's the best formation in football, Carter, if you're on offense.
Just the play that Austin Allen wanted after taking the football from Brandon. So the seniors celebrate. The Razorbacks, a 28-3 winner over Missouri for Gary Pinkel. This is likely his final game on the sideline as a head coach. Told us, I've never worked a day in my life. Loved this profession from the day he got in it. And despite the final score today, respect all around this conference, all around football for Gary Pinkel.
Well, we have to start with Friday football.
Right.
Arkansas and Missouri. Would this be the last game for that man, Gary Pinkel, after 15 seasons at Missouri? A 5-win team could get a bowl game this year, potentially, but there are no guarantees. The weather was awful. It was cold. It was wet. But Alex Collins, guys, can still run the football. Tough yards on 3rd and 2, first down.
Yeah, nice luxury to have a guy like that in the backfield with the weather poor. Handing it to him a bunch of times today with all sorts of productivity.
Yeah, 30 times total. There's a touchdown for Collins. So it's 7-0. And you know for Missouri that may be too big of a hill for them to climb already. Brandon Allen, yet why throw the football? There's Alex Collins again. Look at the tough run.
It's almost felt like old Arkansas before Dan Enos here.
Really does have that look, doesn't it? Collins again. Well, you tell me. They're not throwing the ball, Doring. As a receiver, how difficult is a day like today?
Well, I mean, I think when it's rainy and the ball's wet, the last thing I want to do is try to catch footballs down the field. So it's nice to have a little bit of a luxury to take some pressure off of you, block downfield a little bit, let the big guy do the work.
You had trouble catching when it was dry anyway.
Oh, Boog.
Starting early this week.
To Boog's defense, you looked left, giving him an opportunity to slam you.
I always do. That's our setup.
That's right. Wesley Leftwich there. Nice grab from Drew Lock. Lock, though, just 9 for 27, 83 yards. So now what? Run it. Ish Witter gets a big gain there, but he only had 33 yards. That was a team high for Missouri. Ensuing Razorback drive after a Missouri field goal. 4th and inches. Arkansas going to go for it. Not Alex Collins, but Cody Walker. Big, tough, fullback-ish. Yeah, first down. Later on the drive, though, let's go back to Collins, shall we? Collins going to take it from the 25 and take it for 25. Cut back and back. Little dancing touchdown.
You know, when you're an offensive lineman, Dar, you dream of days like this where you can just come off and line up and knock the other guy off the ball over and over and over again.
21-3 after that touchdown. Third quarter, more Alex Collins, guys. 30 carries, 130 yards, the 3 touchdowns you have seen. And then the biggest play, actually, Cody Walker. Well, actually, eventually, there's a touchdown. Walker there with the touchdown. Walker did have 77 yards. The team ran for 208. And that's the new trophy. And it goes to the Hogs. Missouri totaled 171 yards of offense in the loss, falling to 5-7. The Razorbacks in this regular season winners of 5 of their last 6 games. Again, Brandon Allen did not need to do much, just 17 pass attempts in the slop. Brett Bielema's team, a Friday winner.
From a team that went over in the SEC my first year to a team that won 2 last year to go 5-3 in this league and know we're on the doorstep of getting a couple others, I think is a really, really exciting time. Trending in the right direction, and they're a big part of it, even though they won't be with us in the future. I thought those guys played really well. As far as being in that game with Coach Pinkel, I had a couple good words with him before the game. Very, very appreciative of everything he's brought the game, and I want to wish him nothing but the best as he moves forward, and we're with him in 100% support.
I've been blessed, number one. Number two is I always think we did the right thing for kids. It wasn't all about winning, and fortunately I had enough success that I could keep coaching for 25 years. But at the end of the day, it's about kids and helping them be better men, and we really, truly ran our program like that, and I feel very good about it.
Yeah, who knows if there'll be a bowl game in their future. It's unlikely, but this year with so many bowl games and so few teams that may be bowl eligible, it certainly is possible. But Arkansas, you said it. This looked like before Dan Enos Razorbacks here. What impressed you most about what they were able to do in the conditions at that field?
You talk about how balanced they are. And balanced to me, you talk a lot about in the game the ability to run or pass. But I look at it contrasting to last week. Against Mississippi State, they threw the ball all over the yard. They didn't run the football very much. Today they came out, handed off 52 times, and allowed that offensive line, as you talked about, to go up against a pretty good, pretty physical run defense from Missouri. And their intention to impose their will on the opposing team there, it was just evident that was the way that they were going to go into this game, and they executed. And I thought that balance and contrast from week to week is pretty impressive.
This is about Arkansas continuing to improve their program. We've seen them the last couple of Novembers get better and better. And today, we know Missouri was shorthanded offensively. They're not a very, very good team. But for Arkansas to continue to climb the ladder in the SEC West, they have to continue to get better November in and out. And today, the physicality at the line of scrimmage, the way they were able to hold Missouri, not being able to run the football and to run the football themselves was quite an accomplishment for the Hogs today.
Gary Pinkel's last game, potentially. 118 wins during his time at Missouri. 25 years before that, they'd won a total of 116. If we don't see him coach another football game, what will you remember about him?
The ability for him to mold players, build a program, and worry about the student athlete. A lot of coaches can win. A lot of coaches can take programs from here up here. But how do you take a young man from here and make him a man? And for Gary Pinkel to bring 2- and 3-star guys into Missouri and make them 5-star men, to me, that's what I remember most about Coach Pinkel.
For me, it was the transition into the SEC. That first year they struggled. They were decimated by injuries. But to win back-to-back SEC East titles the way that they did, establishing themselves much quicker than what Texas A&M did, to me was very impressive, and he was the perfect guy to do that for that school.